Hello, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. You're listening to Stories with Sapphire. I am Sapphire Sandalo. Now get cozy and open your mind because it's story time. The Grinch Gremlin with Kelly Nugent.
We were in this house that we ended up moving out of when I was 9. But I had to be probably like 5 because I was already taking piano at that time. And by our piano, we had these like blue bags that were piano bags. I remember them leaned up against the side of the piano bench, and I was like playing in the living room. I just remember feeling something very strange that called my attention over to the piano bench. And I looked, and there was like behind the blue bags, there was this like grayish dark blue little thing. It was like a little, if I could describe it, I guess it was like a gremlin type creature or like something. And it was holding on to the side of the bag, peeking at me. It was like a Grinch. It was like a little Grinch. Like, I don't even know it was this little like thing. And I remember just being frozen in place and just staring at this thing and just like frozen. I didn't even know what to think it was. I just remember almost blue screening in my head of, I don't understand what this thing is. And it's just looking at me. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, come in, there's something. And she looked and she couldn't see anything. And she was like, what are you looking at? And I was like, right there, it's right there. And then I was pointing at it and she couldn't see it. So I'm sure it freaked her out. And then I looked back and the creature was gone. So it was not there the whole time.
Whoa. Okay, so I have a couple theories, but I want to hear the rest of your stories to see if it like makes more sense.
Then shortly after that, I would get sleep paralysis a lot. And I didn't really know what it was. But I had it for the first time in that childhood bedroom there. And it was weird. I remember having this dream that I was like walking on a road and there was like a scary being, something at the end. And I was afraid to get to it. And then I woke up. But then after I woke up, I couldn't move. And I could see I still remember in my childhood bedroom above the door that was like across from where my bed was, in the corner was that thing again. And it was like clinging, like, you know, in Hereditary, how the mom is like clinging in the corner. It was doing that. It was like clinging and like looking at me and I couldn't move. I remember just being like, just move. And then eventually being able to, and then it was gone. But it was the same thing as the thing that I saw next to the piano bag.
Ah, okay. And then, so wait, did that thing appear any more times?
Yeah.
Wait. So wait, sorry. What? Okay, so the timeline of this. So this was the first moment. And then how long did it take until the next time you saw it?
That was probably in the same year, I want to say. It was like very close because I'm just clocking it. My sister wasn't born yet, so I had to be 3 or 4. So it was just around that time. And that time was also like kind of calamitous. My like family life was a little bit, it was very tricky and I have a complicated relationship with my mom. And it was just, I remember it being a very calamitous time.
I was actually going to ask because I'm sure you are familiar, but like, yeah, when sleep paralysis happens, it can usually be triggered by like extreme stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes like that is what manifests the things that are appearing in the room.
Yeah.
So this happened twice and then you saw this thing again?
Yes, but not until many years later. We had moved to our new house and I was probably 15 or 16 years old. And I remember getting up, I had to go pee in the middle of the night. And keep in mind, for this one, it's a little bit weird because I have poor vision and I wasn't wearing my glasses. So I just like got up walked into the hallway. My parents always slept with their door open, like wide open. And my room was on the opposite end of the hall as their room. So I like walk in, I just look into their room, and they had like a TV stand that was visible from where you would look down the hall, but you couldn't see their bed. So their bed was behind a wall. And I remember looking in and seeing that gray gremlin thing perched on top of their TV. And it was like looking at them. And again, I was like frozen. I was just like standing there like, what the heck is going on? It's so funny, like when you see a horror movie and you see someone see something, you're like, run, just run. But I literally was just standing there staring at it, trying to understand what I was seeing. So I was just frozen in place, staring. And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to go into the bathroom. So then I went back and like stood in my room and I was like, no, I have to go see what it is. So I like put on my glasses. I went back and looked and it was still there. And I was like, what is this? And it was just there. And then I went back into my room and I was just like sitting on my bed like, okay, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to go out. And I went back out again and I looked and it was gone.
What the fuck? Wait, okay.
What was that?
So it was there for a while.
Yes, it was there for like 2 minutes probably. It was like just like you know how like a gargoyle is like crouched?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. And that one I didn't tell my mom until I think like last year. And she was like, ew, don't tell me that. And I was like, it was staring at you. It was just staring towards my parents' bed.
And did it ever notice you looking at it?
It didn't look at me that time. It was looking at me when I was really little next to the piano bag. Okay. And when I was like in my sleep paralysis thing, it was looking at me.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember if there was anything going on in either your life or your parents' life at that time? Like,
that was another, like, my teenage years were really hard. My parents were very, 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 very strict. And my sister was very easygoing, and we just had two different sets of parents almost, right? Like they were a lot harder on me. I'm older. I was expected to be perfect. I wasn't allowed to do things that weren't for school so I would like study at a friend's house and then and then it was just like sleeping over at my friend's house. I wasn't even doing anything bad, but it was like, I used to dread asking my mom like, hey, can I go to a friend's house? Cause she would be like, well, if you like them so much, you should just go join their family. And I'm like, okay. So it was a difficult time, and we were fighting a lot at that time. So yeah, I think it was just in general a difficult time with my family.
Right. So, okay. Because I'm trying to figure out if like this was something that was in a way protecting you or like a little like guardian, but I think I want more information first of all.
Yeah.
Like, but so when you saw it, because it sounds like you weren't scared, you were more curious, right? Would that be accurate?
I was shocked and I was scared. It was like this weird, like dull feeling of being scared, but it was behind this. It was like I was feeling it through glass. Like I wasn't feeling it fully. I just felt like scared underneath almost. And then the thing that was more pressing, the feeling that was more pressing was this feeling of, you know, when you're looking at like a double negative and then it's as if it like clicks into place. So it's like I was staring at this thing and I was trying to make it make sense. And then it clicked into place and I was like, oh. And I was scared enough that I didn't want to go to the bathroom, and I went back, but then I went back out there to look at it. So I don't know. But I've always been I do get scared, but I also am like, I face my fears a lot. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so was that the last time or did you see it again?
I never saw that again. I kind of want to see that little gremlin again because at first he was very scary, but I don't know, or they, we don't know. I can't claim to know, but I think they meant well. I don't know. They weren't hurting me. And they were just kind of watching. And if anything, they're just interested in what I'm up to, which is kind of nice. So it's kind of like, oh, you checked in. And during times that were very difficult.
After hearing Kelly's encounters, I did some research to see if I could find existing mythology that would explain what she saw. The one that she believed was the closest, at least in physical appearance, was the domovoi, or domovic, from Slavic folklore. The details of these spirits vary from culture to culture, but they are small, benevolent house spirits that typically live in dark corners of the home. They're covered in hair or fur. I like to think that this Grinch Gremlin Kelly saw was kind of like her guardian, there to remind her to incorporate wonder and play into her life. Maybe that's why it appeared during a stressful time, during a stressful dream, and while watching her parents, almost like it was saying, don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on them. The world that they've created for you is not even close to the big picture. Life is so much bigger and weirder than what you've been told, and you'll be okay.
I look at the world now because of these experiences. I don't know, they're kind of humbling because I'm like, I know I can't fully explain them. And it makes you feel, this is going to sound weird, but small in a comforting way where it's kind of like, oh, well, because I know that a lot of people, when they get faced with insignificance, they feel like ultimate despair. And they're like, well, nothing I do matters, whatever. For me, and maybe this is part of my upbringing, because for me, everything I did mattered. I was highly monitored. It was like, you are either the best or the worst. There's nothing in between. With this, it feels almost freeing where you're like, oh, I'm part of this world that I can't fully explain. So that means that there's so much going on that I have no power over. And I'm just like a part of this fabric. And that means that because nothing what I do matters, the only thing that matters is what I do. So I don't know. It feels like freeing and comforting that I'm like, oh, I'm just part of this cool world that I can't fully explain. And maybe that's okay. Instead of being expected to have answers all the time, if that makes sense.
If you've ever seen anything that sounds like what Kelly witnessed, please leave a comment on Spotify or send me an email at story@storieswithsapphire.com.
Cool. So tell us about your book.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So I wrote a book called The Latchkey Twins, case number 46, The Twins Solve a Murder. It's a fake 46th entry into a non-existent, like Hardy Boys type, like Encyclopedia Brown, Bobbsey Twins series. And these twins, their names are Turnpike and Pesto, and they usually solve, the mystery of the cupcake caper or, the mysterious dog napper. And they're paid in milkshakes. And it's just a very idyllic town of River Valley. But then they come across a murder, and it's so out of their depth. And Turnpike, she's like the adventurous one who can sometimes be a little selfish. And she is like, this is great. This is our opportunity to prove ourselves. And Pesto's like, but what's wrong with all of the dog napping stuff? Why can't we keep it easy? Because he's very, he likes to control things and he's very scared. It's kind of like if Nancy Drew had a supernatural and kind of bloody bent on it. So it's my hope that it's both the thing and the satire of the thing that it's satirizing. So it's available now anywhere. And also the audiobook is available. I narrated it. So anywhere, Audible and Kindle and paperback, it's available. I have a YouTube channel. That's probably where my video, I just made a short and it's weird. It's just very weird. I don't know. It has mannequins in it. But it's on my YouTube channel, which is Delingus. And that's what has all the shorts that I've made and stuff.